Hey everybody, welcome back into Flock Talk, the official podcast of the Beloit Sky Carp with my boy, Josh Flickinger, Larry Larson. You didn't like that intro, did you?
My boy?
My guy.
Yeah, my guy I'm a little more comfortable with. My boy, I mean, I'm just about exactly twice your age.
That's part of the shtick.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think we need to re-record, but if you could just not refer to me. I picture the boy being spelled B-O-I, that kind of thing, and I'm not sure I'm into it,
Not a fan of it.
Yeah, my guy.
Yeah, my guy.
My man.
My main
pal.
man.
Yeah.
But hey, it's good to see you again in person.
Yeah.
I like doing this when we can look across the room and see each other.
Yeah, well, you've got a dreamy set of eyes, and so I enjoy that. You kind of get lost sometimes.
Oh,
a little bit
boy.
of a danger of the in-person podcast, but
I'm flattered.
Absolutely.
How was Sky Carp Fest? It looked great. Looked like a great crowd.
Yeah, we really missed you, Larry. It was awesome. We had a great crowd. We had hundreds of people filing in and out throughout the day. Q&A with our guys, and just everything with our guys. Zach Zubia and Jacob Berry went great. I mean, if these guys do end up on our team, at least to start the season in April, I think fans are going to be very excited because not only are they great on the field, but they're great to communicate with and to, banter back and forth, sign autographs. And as we know in minor league baseball, that's half the beauty of coming out here to ABC Supply Stadium is being able to interact with these guys and chat with them. So, it was great. Great success.
Yeah, great success.
Great success.
Yeah, very nice. And hey, if you haven't watched our last episode or interview with Zach Zubia and Jacob Berry, a lot of good stuff in there. They were great guests.
They were very open with us. Zubia in particular, he said he was a communications major at Texas. He's a student athlete, so he probably didn't go to a lot of classes, but I do think he's got a great chance to be a future broadcaster if that's what he wants to do.
Oh yeah, he's got the voice for it.
He does.
He's got
Absolutely.
the voice for it. Could go a lot of different directions too. He knows a lot of sports.
Yeah, he does.
Conversations with him. So
well, his background as a high school quarterback, saying he played in front of 25K, as a high school quarterback, just wild. So you're right. He could speak on any number of things.
Jumping into a lot of discussion points today. A lot of news with the Marlins lately. Our last episode before the Zubia Berry one, we talked a lot about Carlos Correa and whatnot. That episode never made it out for reasons unknown. Story for another day, folks. But
far in the future.
Biggest Marlins news and Beloit Sky Carp news. 2022 member of the Beloit Sky Carp, Jose Salas, one of the headlining prospects in the deal that sends Pablo Lopez to the Minnesota Twins and Luis Arraez, the American League batting champ, to Miami. I didn't have that on the offseason bingo card, but you look at Jose, and he's definitely a blue-chip prospect.
There's no doubt. And, to peek behind the curtain a little bit, Jose was originally supposed to be at Sky Carp Fest. He was going to be one of the two guys they sent up here. And then, they said, well, Jose's got some personal conflicts, which very well could have been the case. I don't know how long this has been in the hopper. But the irony or the coincidence that it was that his trade was announced the day before Sky Carp Fest, very interesting. So, yeah, that's one of the things that, being a fan of the Sky Carp or working with the Sky Carp, and you get to know these guys sometimes on a personal level, and then all of a sudden those same guys are, blowing up on your Twitter feed. Very unexpected, as you said, but certainly the Marlins, valued Jose because they used him as a centerpiece, really, or one of the pieces to get a very good player. And the Twins are really excited about him too. And we were fully, at least I was fully expecting Jose to be our starting shortstop on April 7th. I think that was going to happen, but not anymore, although, and you can talk about this maybe a little bit, but still a good chance, a decent chance, I think, that he plays at ABC Supply Stadium in 2023.
Yeah, there is a very real chance that he starts the season with the Cedar Rapids Colonels.
I would expect
and honestly,
that kind of, right?
How awkward is that going to be?
Oh, it'll be great. I think even when they get into it, these guys understand that this is a business.
Oh, yeah. But it'll just be a little weird for me to say, oh, here's the visiting starting lineup. Jose Salas leading off and playing shortstop for.
And anyone
Cedar
who has tuned into the broadcast in the past know you talk a lot of trash on the opposition. So you'll have to kind of tone down the act for Jose when he comes up.
Yeah, just so I can say hi to him during batting practice.
Yeah.
We won't have any beef there.
No, you don't want any beef with Jose. No, I loved Jose, though. He is a really good guy and really fun to watch. I'll tell you, he mastered that Jeter throw, and I'm sad I don't get to see it. He probably had 4 or 5 of those. Those are fun to watch.
Yeah, he's a great defender, very strong arm. I could see him in the future getting moved to third base.
Yeah, I could too.
Just because he's a big athletic frame. But I think the thing that impressed me the most about Jose, being that he was 19, was, he's still got a lot of development to do in terms of plate approach. But even when he really struggled towards the end of the year, he was on and off the injured list a little bit, he still found a way to get on base almost every single game, even when he wasn't really hitting. You'd stretch out at bats and find a way to walk, and that's valuable.
Yeah, he didn't come up and play like a 19-year-old. Like I said, I don't know that he did enough to say, yes, I am AA starting shortstop day one in his age 20 season. But the fact that also they sent him to the fall league tells you exactly how the Marlins felt about him. And then obviously, in kind, that's the thing about these minor league players and how organizations view them is, if they're an asset, they could be an asset for us, or they could be an asset for somebody else that allows us to get somebody that's maybe a little more big league ready or already in the big. So Jose, a bright future, just maybe a bright future for the Fighting St. Peters of Minnesota.
Yes, indeed, or the Cedar Rapids Colonels.
Yeah, in the very near term, yeah. We'll have to look on, I don't know, surprisingly, fans, I don't have the 2023 schedule committed to memory, but
second homestand they visit here.
Oh, so that's very likely.
Mid-April. Get your tickets now.
Come out and see Jose.
Are our tickets on sale yet?
The individual games not quite yet, but certainly season tickets, and
yes.
We have some group packages. We've got some dates available, so definitely check us out.
Buy your season tickets now, skycarp.com/tickets, or call the box office. You can secure your seat for when Jose Salas probably returns.
I think so. I think probable. Probable is what, 60, 70%?
Yeah.
I think probable is good.
And also he does have the talent to probably start in AA.
If
so
he
who knows?
blows them away in spring training, where do they train? Fort Myers, maybe?
Fort Myers, yep.
How about
yes,
that?
Indeed. Moving towards the big league side of that trade. So you've got Luis Arraez, you've got Gene Segura, and Jazz Chisholm getting shifted to center field. That could go a few different ways. I think that surprises a lot of people, but it sounded like a move where Jazz Chisholm went to the front office and said, if you guys aren't going to go out and get a center fielder, I'm down to learn center field and win a gold glove in center field. You got to love that attitude if you're a Marlins fan.
Well, we talked about the talent and versatility of Salas coming into play, playing couple different positions and having the athleticism to do so. Well, that's a perfect example with Jazz. And and we've seen that before, where guys transition from an infield spot to the outfield, especially center field, and do that successfully. I can mention my Brewer background. Robin Yount won an MVP at both shortstop and center field.
The old Robin Yount.
82 and 89. Bill Hall also made that transition, not as successfly, but he did play out there.
Oh, man.
Yeah, gotta love that. But certainly, history's littered with those guys that have done that, and you got to be a great athlete. But that's what Jazz is. So yeah, it'll be a very interesting experiment in Miami this year.
Luis Arraez too. It never hurts getting a batting champ.
Yeah, whenever you can pick up somebody that won a batting title the year before, still, certainly has some great years left in him. Yeah, he'll help the team, that's for sure.
Transitioning to some other offseason news. 4 members of the 2022 Beloit Sky Carp invited to big league spring training. Dax Fulton, Will Banfield, Yan Mercado, Nasim Nunez, all very well deserved. Exciting news.
Yeah, absolutely. The catchers we talked about a little earlier. The catchers, of course, you're gonna cast a wider net for your catchers just because of the amount of arms that need to be caught during spring training. But still, great news for Banfield and Mercado. And then Nas. Yeah, I mean, he certainly earned the bid, and then, I think we all think that Dax could see a big league uniform in 2023.
Really?
I think not necessarily in April, but yeah, I mean, if he has a solid start, you look at what he did at
Look,
Double-A.
I don't think it's completely out of the question, but it would just be like a bit of a surprise, like a pleasant surprise.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking 2024.
Yeah, I think that's more realistic for sure. But I wouldn't rule him out. Now, Nas, I think probably that would be really difficult for him to see action in a non-spring training game for the Marlins this year, because you got to figure he's going to start in Double-A, and then if he can make it up to Jacksonville, he's still such a young guy.
Yeah.
Still, time is on his side. But to get that spring training invite right away, that's a huge tip in the cap towards Nas.
Yeah, and you look at all three of those guys. You look at Nas, you look at Fulton, you look at Banfield, all guys who started here and had very good performances. Obviously, you got to play pretty well to get called up to Double-A.
Yep.
And then they went to Pensacola, and arguably they all played better up there. And I think that speaks volumes about, the coaching staff here in Beloit and the coaching staff and minor league development of the Marlins, and also it speaks volumes about those guys and their futures in the organization.
Yeah, anytime you level up, and particularly, Larry, when you're talking about the jump between High A and Double-A, which a lot of times is seen as the biggest leap, and you see a lot of guys kind of sputter out at Double-A, have success until they reach that Double-A level. At the Double-A level, you're so close to the big leagues. You see guys getting called up from Double-A regularly. So they are playing against big leaguers, future big leaguers, all the time, every night. And for those guys to not only do as well as they did in Beloit, but as you mentioned, better statistically in all three of those cases, I think, says a lot.
Hey, and then a fifth name that we want to toss out there, Jacob Berry, invited to big league spring training. And that's a name that is, speaking probability, we're like 95% sure he'll be with us at some point this year. We'd be shocked if he wasn't.
I would be shocked, yes. And I would also be shocked if he was a Sky Carp still in August. It probably wouldn't be let's face it, probably wouldn't be a great sign for Jacob, because I know they expect big things out of your 6th overall pick.
Of course.
Especially as a college guy, right? Not coming out of high school. He's only had the 2 years in college, but still.
But SEC and Pac-12.
Yes. And he had great success there. And so I'm expecting Jacob to be here for a couple of months and then blow a kiss, hit the road, and head down to Pensacola. But we'll have to see what happens. But yeah, we'd love to see him here in April for sure.
Yeah, we definitely enjoyed getting to know him at Sky Carp Fest.
Great guy.
He'll be a fun player to watch.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. I think there's a lot of question over, is his long-term future at third base, but we'll get to see right out of the chute exactly how he plays over there at the hot corner.
And right here, this is the place where you start to find out those things and those plans. So
High A is such a great level. Not that I would, not that Low A was geez, this is trash. These guys are terrible. But High A is so interesting because you don't get players skipping High A a lot. Barry's a perfect example, right? Where, and obviously he played with Jupiter, but you see a lot of guys that come in, maybe straight out of the draft, those high-impact college guys that'll go straight to High A. And you just don't see, and skip Low A, and skip rookie ball, or maybe, High A, everybody kind of lands here at some point, it feels like.
Yeah, definitely. So we're looking forward to that. We're looking forward to all those guys, seeing those guys at big league spring training this year. That's exciting.
Larry and I are going to be there. Now, if they're still in big league spring training in late March.
That's a pretty good sign.
Now that's a story, but we want to promo that a little bit, Larry, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be it's a couple months from now. Not that I'm counting down the days.
Am I allowed to call that a
57.
boys trip, or do we want to go guys trip with that?
Yeah, as long as the BOI is not involved, I guess you can call it a boys trip. But we're headed down to spring training. We booked the flights, so they can't tell us no now. I've used the gold card, and once the gold card's used, it's in the books. So we're really excited to get down there. We're going to bring you a ton of content over the course of 3 or 4 days.
I've heard rumors there's going to be a vlog.
Yeah, we're going to have some vlog content, some old school vlog content.
Oh, yeah.
Catch our Instagram stories. The thing I'm most excited about getting down there, just real quick, the ring ceremony that they're going to have prior to a Marlins spring training game, which obviously it's not the Sky Carp rings, but it is the Pensacola Blue Wahoos, half of whose roster played for the Sky Carp.
Yes.
So
we'll take partial credit.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll have rings for us, but maybe.
I'm going to line up in the line, and if they call my name, they do. If they don't, they don't. Either way, I'm going to be there, and it'll be great content.
Good plan. Maybe we can pull some strings from our friends up at on Park Avenue in New York City, including Zack Raab.
There you go.
He is the MiLB Club Services Coordinator for a handful of clubs, including the Marlins. And he is our guest on today's Flock Talk. We recorded this a few weeks ago. Great interview.
Yes.
Guy with a very interesting background. He grew up a Marlins fan. So a lot of fun Marlins talk in this interview. Without further ado, let's kick it to Zack Raab. Our next Flock Talk guest is Zack Raab, Club Services Coordinator with Minor League Baseball, a frequent guest at many minor league ballparks, any minor league fan out there. Great follow on Twitter. Zack Raab, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me, guys. Pleasure to be here.
So, Zack, first question. We know what you do, at least me and Flick have a little bit of a better idea, but sort of explain your job to folks that might not be familiar.
Sure thing, yeah. It's a job that I absolutely love. I'll start with that. I'm officially employed by Major League Baseball on the minor league business operations team. This team was created by Major League Baseball. If you go back 2 years around COVID time when minor league baseball, there was a bit of restructuring among the minor league teams, and it was sort of absorbed under Major League Baseball's umbrella. And Major League Baseball created 2 dedicated teams to help out all the minor league clubs on the baseball operations side and the business operations side. The baseball operations side helps with travel and housing and anything player and coach and facility related, and the business side helps with all the marketing, the promotions, merchandising, and all of that stuff. And so I'm on that team. My official title is Club Services Coordinator, Minor League Baseball Club Services Coordinator, based out of the Commissioner's office in New York City. My role is essentially, I am the point person at Major League Baseball for, I guess, 28 minor league clubs, including all 4 Marlins affiliates, which is how I've gotten to know you all at the Sky Carp. And I get a lot of emails, a lot of phone calls, a lot of Zoom calls, any questions that any of the staff members at these 28 clubs have. And this, we're talking from general manager and VP all the way down the food chain in the front office staff to merchandise manager and social media manager and the graphic designer and everyone in between, basically. I'm here to help, be a resource from the side of Major League Baseball. We cover every kind of topic. The core of my role is to help make the lives of everyone at the minor league baseball's teams easier, and I have so much fun doing it. Built a ton of relationships with guys like you and so many others across the other teams I've worked with. And I started at this role back in August 2021, so it's been quite a while and a lot of fun and just contributing positively to minor league baseball and to teams all across the country.
So it sounds like your job is to keep an eye on Flick.
100%. I mean, he's the biggest problematic guy in minor league baseball, but he's also been one of the coolest guys I've gotten to meet through this game, so I'm thankful for that.
Sometimes it takes a maverick to keep you on your toes. You know what I mean, Zach?
There are a lot of those.
Okay, so the 28 teams, how are they divided? You mentioned you have all 4 Marlins affiliates, which of course the other 3 are in Florida. Are you then divided by teams? You've got all the Reds teams and the Astros teams, or is it geographic? How are they divided, or is it random?
Yeah, it's not geographic. My manager, we are a team of 4 coordinators split among 120 clubs, 120 minor league clubs. So I have, for example, all the Marlins affiliates, I have all the Braves affiliates, I have all the Reds affiliates, and a couple of other clubs. The Marlins was by design because my manager knew and understood that I grew up a Marlins fan and that it would, mean a lot of extra, make it extra special for me to get to work with a lot of the Marlins minor league affiliates, many of whom I had various relationships throughout the different levels prior to even joining Major League Baseball, just via social media, like Larry said. When you're a Marlins fan on social media and you're vocal and you're consistently vocal and supportive of the club, you tend to stand out. And so I did that for a number of years, from 2016, 17, all the way until when I got this gig back in 2021. So that's why I'm working with the Marlins, and I thanked my boss right away when he gave me the Marlins. But it's been a treat to work with the other 6 MLB parent clubs, all of their affiliates too. I've met people across the country, awesome people in Chattanooga, awesome people in Toledo, Ohio. You name it, across the map, I've met so many cool people and gotten to learn about so many cool minor league brands and awesome promotions that you guys do on a yearly basis. It's been awesome.
So obviously you travel a lot. You've seen a lot of ballparks. We'll get to that. I want to start with the Marlins fandom. What made you a Marlins fan growing up, and maybe what was your favorite memory? Because, you know, it might be a little easier to forget these days, but the Marlins, I mean, they were a force to be reckoned with early in franchise history.
Yeah, I'm born and raised in South Florida, so I lived there from the time I was a baby through the end of high school. So I grew up going to so many Marlins games. That was the most consistent thing our family did together, and that I enjoyed doing back in the old Pro Player Stadium, which ended up having like 7 different names. And then in the new Marlins Park, which is now Lone Depot Park. I grew up in the black and teal Marlins days with that awesome logo. Continued through the rainbow colored logo through that, I guess, growth phase of the Marlins, and now in the really sleek black, red, and blue logo that I really like that update. So yeah, born and raised a Marlins fan. You can't take that out of me. I sort of got to be a little bit more neutral now in this role at Major League Baseball. But you know, everyone that works for Major League Baseball grew up a fan of some team. And you're not gonna take that away all of a sudden. So I still support the Marlins clubs. Favorite memory, favorite thing growing up. I mean, my favorite player growing up was Dan Uggla, number 6, second baseman. Hit a lot of home runs. Everyone knew Rich Waltz and Tommy Hutton's call. His name is Dan Uggla. Whenever he hit a home run, that was the soundtrack of my childhood. I grew up, I was playing second base, so I always wore number 6. I mimicked Dan Uggla's batting stance when he used to shake the bat like that. There was one time I sat behind home plate at a Marlins game, and it was literally the seats behind the umpire, I guess, right behind home plate, and Dan Uggla hit a walk-off, and I was on SportsCenter the next morning, top 10 plays. That was exciting. But I guess my core memory of when I think of my Marlins fandom is Jose Fernandez, and just the joy that he brought when he was playing there. That connected me beyond anything. And that was actually, and we may touch on this, but while I was living across the ocean in Israel for 9 years, I spent many nights watching Marlins games from 2 to 5 in the morning, especially just about every one of Jose's starts that I could catch. And that really cemented my fandom into adulthood of just how much the team meant to me, how much watching baseball and being a part of baseball, and then ultimately wanting to make a positive impact in baseball, which is why I'm super thankful that I'm in this role right now.
You mentioned Israel for 9 years, the fact that, you know, we've talked about what brought you there and ultimately what brought you back.
What brought me there, it's as a Jew, living in Israel is absolutely special. Sort of on a whim that I moved there. I went there for college, for undergraduate, and for graduate school, and then started working there. At a certain point after 9 years, it's also tough watching baseball from 2 to 5 in the morning for 9 years. It was also unfortunately coincided with 9 losing seasons for the Marlins, so that took a little extra level of dedication, but it was worth it. Ultimately, what got me to come back to America is I wanted to work in baseball. It's very rare, especially from talking to my friends and people that I know, people in my circles. It's very rare to pinpoint a passion, like something that above all that you care about, that you know means so much to you. And if you are lucky enough to pinpoint that at some point in your life, as I did really early on as baseball and wanting to make a positive impact in the game of baseball, there was not that much that I could do in Israel. There was a lot of volunteer work, and I did get very involved in that around the World Baseball Classic and around the Olympics, and just volunteering on the ground with some youth teams there. But to really make a wider spread positive impact, I decided to take a leap back to America with very little network, very few connections in the game of baseball, and try to find my way into the industry and make a positive impact here. And I'll keep saying it. I love the department I'm in now. I love the impact that I get to make with minor league clubs, and I love the traveling that I get to do, and just so much about this job. I'm so appreciative of every day.
Hey, Israel, it's a small but passionate baseball community over there based on what I've seen. It's there, but yeah, obviously a few more ball games over here across the pond.
Yeah, it's very small there. It's growing in terms of passion level, for sure. You got to start somewhere in small countries like that.
Yeah, definitely. Now, jumping back to more recent this past year, I'm going to steal a line from Scott Van Pelt, his segment, Best Thing I Saw Today. How about the best thing you saw this year from every minor league ballpark you went to?
Wow. You know what? Since this is a Beloit Sky Carp podcast, I will say my best memory, the best thing I saw was getting to meet Poopsie, your mascot, before Poopsie was unveiled. So I got a sneak peek. I got a sneak peek of Poopsie back in the underground in the front office area, and before anyone else knew Poopsie was coming, I got that inside scoop, and I didn't spoil it on Twitter. I still want a Poopsie bobblehead for my desk here at MLB, but we'll see what happens with that. But I guess that's a memory. The first thing that popped to mind since this is a Sky Carp podcast.
Quick, write that down.
We will certainly, we'll be sending you a Poopsie bobblehead for sure. We'll definitely make that happen. South Florida to New York City. That's a big switch. How are you because if I recall correctly, your offices too, they are in Manhattan, right? Like downtown?
Yeah, our offices are smack in the middle of Manhattan. Also brand new offices. MLB opened new headquarters right before COVID. I think it was January or February 2020. So it still a little bit has that new office feel to it. Considering the entire 2020, no one was really working in the office. But yeah, Florida to New York is very different. I will say, living in Florida my whole childhood and up through high school, and then living in Israel for 9 years, which is a desert. Now living in cold weather climate is a shock to the system, but a shock that I was actually very excited for because I love cold weather. And this, everyone in Beloit understands that, cold weather. And I've been enjoying it. New York City is definitely busier, louder, brighter, smellier than everywhere else I've lived thus far. And there's just been a sensory overload at some points, which is why I love the travel that I get to do. Because every once in a while, let's say once a month during the season, and a couple of times in the off season too for various meetings, I get to take a quick break from New York City, from the hustle and bustle here, and go to small towns like Beloit, Wisconsin, or Chattanooga, Tennessee, or Pensacola, Florida, and relax and enjoy a ball game, meet the staff there, and just take a break from the New York City sensory overload. But aside from that, it's been great. It's a new life experience, and you grow through new life experiences, and that's really what I've been doing over the past year since I moved here.
Yeah, you've really got a job that I think a lot of people would enjoy in the sense that you get to travel and you get paid to go and check out different stadiums and different ballparks around the country. And with that, obviously I asked a superlative question, last question, but I want to do it again. You see a lot of different stuff, maybe outside the entertainment, maybe outside the mascots that have yet to be unveiled. How about your favorite ballpark you got to see? Maybe you can pick a top 3, maybe you don't have to order them, but we won't be offended if ABC Supply Stadium's not on the list.
Yeah, the traveling is amazing. And I'm very thankful I have this opportunity to go to all these amazing places and meet all these amazing people. I will say, and I already gave Beloit some love, so I'm going to give your sister club some love in Pensacola. Their stadium down in Pensacola, they're the only team that I visited this past year that I actually stayed for 2 games as opposed to 1. Their view, their sunset from their ballpark overlooking the water. If your fans have never made a trip down to Pensacola for even a vacation, and while they're there, catch a few ball games, man, that was a treat. I really had always wanted to visit that ballpark for a couple of years, I guess, since they became a Marlins affiliate, and I finally got to for work. And I mean, I always had a dream of traveling for work. I love seeing new places around the world, around the country, and now I get to do it and visit baseball stadiums, which is, I mean, I can't ask for much more than that. I'm so thankful.
Hey, but we got to work on the sunset thing next year.
Yeah. You can get, I've been here when we were here for opening day. Of course, our day on opening day starts very early, before sunrise, because TV stations, we're thankful to have them come out and do their morning shows here. So I've witnessed a sunrise or two here from ABC Supply Stadium.
You want to come see that?
I'd recommend that. Maybe not for our fans just to show up here because there's not a lot going on the field. But
Flick will take care of you. So any fans who want to come see the sunrise, maybe tomorrow, Saturday morning. That work?
Text me. We'll make it happen.
I will say you guys do have a nice river right by your ballpark.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it's the Rock River, right?
Yes.
If I remember
Got
correctly.
it.
Look at this geography knowledge coming from all these small towns in
Love
America.
it.
I get to learn about Beloit, Wisconsin. So you have that Rock River, and one of the coolest, little promotions that I saw that you guys did last year was tubing with a bunch of fans down to your ballpark, and that I want to do. So the next time you have tubing to your ballpark, please let me know. I will bring a bathing suit, and I am all in.
All right, Zach, that is on the promotional calendar.
It is.
We will send you an invite here for. We decided not to put that in April or May. Just you never know weather conditions. So we did a favor to our fans and push that later in the summer again, like it was last year. And we're gonna have an even bigger crowd that's tubing down the river.
Maybe swimming too.
Yeah, maybe some swimming involved. If
Gotta
you're
shout
really
out Jonathan
feeling risky.
Griffith, Studer Entertainment president. He swam the whole way. Incredible.
That's
Gotta love it.
I love it.
One thing, Zach, we did want to ask you about before we let you go, perhaps the biggest promotional undertaking, maybe undertaking sounds a little too strong, but maybe most exciting promotional aspect of minor league baseball this year is the marvelization of a lot of logos. Every team's getting one. Tell us about your work kind of in that department.
Yeah, oh wow, I'm so glad you asked about that. That's been a really fun partnership that, to be quite honest, the first Zoom meeting I joined as an MLB employee was related to Marvel. And I got off the call because I'm not a self-proclaimed Marvel nut. I have learned so much about Marvel over the last year and a half of this job, but my first meeting was related to Marvel. And I remember hanging up off the Zoom call and saying, man, I thought I was going to be working in baseball, not Marvel. but I'll take it. And it's evolved so much, this program, over a year and a half. And it's been so much fun. I've learned so much about Marvel and the fans that are passionate about the brand. Essentially, there's this Marvel's Defenders of the Diamond program that 96 minor league clubs, including Beloit, including Pensacola, are a part of. And, with a Marvel-themed game at least once a year at your ballpark, once last season, at least once this coming season, and then at least once in 2024. Some clubs do an additional Marvel-themed night or two where they wear Marvel character jerseys, where there's activities in between innings that are Marvel themed, where the graphics on your scoreboard or the graphics on even on social media are themed around it, where there's sometimes face painting or character appearances, and it's really cool. But I think that the core part of this partnership that has been so cool to work on was getting to sort of be the middleman between Marvel animators, the comic book animators, and all the 21 clubs that I was working with that are Marvel participants, reimagining your logos, reimagining your cap logos, whether it was taking inspiration from a mascot or from just your basic cap logo or something like that, and turning it with a Marvel spin. And these Marvel animators cooked up 96 amazing logos that all dropped on caps back in November. And, sales were amazing. People ate them up, and the vibe on social media was through the roof and really cool. I have yet to get my hands on any of these caps, but I'm going to once the season starts and once I go out traveling again. And it's just really cool. It's a way to get Marvel fans who aren't necessarily baseball or minor league baseball fans out to the ballpark. And it's a way to get minor league baseball fans and baseball fans who aren't necessarily exposed to Marvel, myself included, to start, learning about Marvel characters in the Marvel universe. And I mean, the work has been amazing. It's been a lot. It's been quite the partnership and quite the moving pieces behind the scenes. But the way the merchandise dropped and fans ate it up, that was really cool to see. So hopefully your fans listening to this mark their calendars once you release your 2023 promo schedule and see when that Marvel date is, and go out to that game for a lot of fun, even if they're not the biggest Marvel fan. But it's just going to be a lot of fun in general. And then get a bunch of those really cool Sky Carp Marvel infused caps.
Hey, you can get those right now on skycarp.com. Use the
Why wait
promo
until the
code
season?
FLOCK for 20% off. So, Zach, maybe you can do that right now. Hop on the team store, buy some Marvel gear. You can get it right now.
Why wait? Yeah, I will go check it out.
Awesome. Well, Zach, appreciate your time. I know you're a busy guy. For some people, there's an off season. For you, I know there's not. So we really appreciate your time to join us.
Yeah, this was a treat. Thank you guys, as always. Love dipping back into my Marlins fandom and talking with the guys I help at these minor league clubs. That love my job. I love just sort of sharing what I do, and hopefully your fans listening to this episode really enjoyed this chat. I appreciate you having me, guys.
Yeah, of course.
Thanks, Zach.
That was our chat with Zack Raab from a few weeks ago, MiLB Club Services Coordinator. Glad he could join us. He's got a really interesting background, and his name is Zack Raab.
Love it. You know, how many Marlins fans are there at the home office there, I wonder?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you're stuck right in the middle of, not stuck, we'd all like to live in Manhattan, the smells, but honestly, there's probably not a ton of Marlins fans in that office, so it's good to have Zach as one of our reps there.
Yeah, generally it's reversed, right? There's a lot of like New York baseball fans in South Florida.
Yes.
And then there's a lot of, are there a lot of Marlins fans in New York? Probably not.
I'm going to say probably not.
Yeah.
That's the disadvantage of being a franchise that's now, you know what, I just thought of that. They're celebrating their 30th year. Or, well, this will be the 30-year anniversary, I guess technically last year, because their first year was 93. I was on spring break in 1993 in Florida when the Marlins played their first game. Charlie Huff started, and I'll never forget that week because the Packers signed Reggie White. And speaking of Reggie White, he was an Eagle too, wasn't he?
What a segue that was. Super Bowl coming up. We got to talk about it. The elephant in the room is we've got two members of our front office staff. We got Matt Michie, Jared Takacs.
Yep.
Jared, he's been on the show before, bearded Philadelphian. Matt Michie, huge KC guy, big Chiefs fan. We're going to have them debate right now. All right, so here's how this is going to work. Me and Flick has switched with Michie and Jared. We're behind the camera now, yes. Sort of, in quotation marks. Michie and Jared, you guys are on the hot seat. I've got the timer right here in my hand, 30 seconds. We're going to ask each of you questions pertaining to your team, big questions that your team is going to have to answer if you're going to want to win a Super Bowl. You've got 30 seconds to answer, and it's going to be rapid fire. So, Flick, I'll let you ask the first question.
Michie, in the AFC Championship game, it's pretty clear your most valuable player was, I believe his name is Ron Tolbert, the head official. He is not assigned to the Super Bowl, to my knowledge. How will the Chiefs overcome that?
Go.
That is difficult. Fortunately, Roger Goodell, as you will know from looking at the internet, is actually on the Chiefs sidelines every game. And he has a little microphone that he has on his sleeve. And so he calls the call in to referees of every single Chiefs game. Because, the NFL obviously is rigged. And we all watch a sport that is predetermined.
The sarcasm is so heavy. He didn't even attempt to justify the cheating that went on yesterday in a fair and realistic manner. Can't say I can give him a point for that, Larry.
Hey, with time to spare, though, we can give him a point for that. That's pretty good. Our next question is for Jared. Jared, this one's pretty simple. You guys are going to have to play a quarterback who doesn't need Tommy John surgery in the middle of the game. How's that going to go?
As much as good as Patrick Mahomes is, he's got that high ankle sprain. He's got 2 weeks to kind of let it heal up a little bit. But everybody was talking about Nick Bosa in that 49ers matchup, and we got a guy on our side too, on a little Hassan Reddick action coming at him. So I think our pass rush is going to have some good times with Patrick.
I'm impressed. Both guys under time.
Tell you what, true professionals here. Michie, how are you possibly expected, with a one-legged quarterback, to fend off that hellacious Eagles pass rush that we've seen here throughout the postseason and, frankly, throughout the regular season?
Well, I think the answer to that is our offensive line. No offense to Jason Kelce, who I'm of course a big fan of as a Kelce brother fan. Our offensive line is the real best one in football. I believe that Lane Johnson currently has half a groin that he played through against the 49ers. So I believe that despite, the power of Hassan Reddick, I think that Steve Spagnuolo and Andy Reid there are smarter than Kyle Shanahan and will not leave their backup tight end to guard him.
Okay.
Jared, I'm just going to let you respond to that. Go.
Yeah. So. Really? Oh, you're really gonna sit there with a straight face and say that your offensive line is better than our offensive line? Yes, I will give you that. Lane Johnson has half a groin, but even with half a groin, he shut Nick Bosa down.
It's true.
That guy is just absolutely incredible. Two Hall of Famers there on offensive line between Kelce and Lane Johnson. So,
all right. Last question for you guys. A fight between the Kelce brothers one-on-one. If that's what this Super Bowl comes down to, who's winning? I'm going to go ahead and say Jared gets to start this one. Ready, go.
I mean, as much as I love Jason, Jason's my guy. I think I have to give the edge to Travis.
Whoa.
I mean, he's got the size on him, and to be perfectly honest with you, I think Travis might just be a little bit more crazier than Jason.
He's definitely a bit of a psychopath. I mean, that is undeniable. And as we all saw, him giving love to The Rock last night and his disagreement with the Cincinnati mayor. He's got some wrestling DNA deep down inside of him. So, Jason, I think, can absorb a little bit more. He's a big guy. But Travis, he's a bit crazy. He might, go for an eye gouge. Might go for some, under the belt, action.
Travis will definitely play dirty, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, last question, jabronis. Who's winning? Give me the score.
Ooh.
I'll let you go first, Jared.
All right. Obviously, the Birds are going to take this one. I think it's going to be a tough matchup, though. I think we're going to fire. I think it's going to be a high scoring affair. To be honest with you, I'm going to go with the Birds edging out Kansas City, 35-32.
Whoa.
Wow. Love the odd score too. You got a 2-pointer in there somewhere.
Huge.
Absolutely.
Might be probably
Philly special again?
Probably a Super Bowl scorigami there.
It
would be.
I personally agree. It'll be a hard-fought, gritty game. A little less, about the total points scored. I think Super Bowls are usually a little more conservative. I'm going to say Chiefs 31, same number they put up in 54. Eagles 24.
Wow. All righty.
So now it's interesting because I don't know if you wager or not. I don't. But the over/under in this game is 50, which I thought was high. Michie, you thought was high too, but then went with the 55. So you guys both say this one's going over.
Oh, I think absolutely. I mean, as good as our defense is, with Slay and Bradbury there, Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes. One leg or not, he showed last night that he can be a wizard on one leg just as well. So I think our defense still has that edge, but I think we're going to have a tough time slowing Patrick down.
And I agree on the opposite end as well. Steve Spagnuolo had an excellent game plan to stop Joe Burrow last night, but there is about a 90% chance that at one point during the game he will put, a 7th-round rookie from Sister Mary's School for the Deaf and Blind one-on-one with A.J. Brown, and he'll, score a 90-yard touchdown. So.
Well, fellas, I got to say, great sportsmanship. Let's keep it clean the next 2 weeks in the office, and best of luck to you. Thanks to Matt Michie, Jared Takacs. They kept it clean. I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I think the rage burning deep inside them was fairly evident. But if you think it's cordial now, I'm thinking around 8 or 9 days from now is when it starts. About next Wednesday is when it really starts heating up.
Yeah.
And we're going to have to, thank goodness Michie works by himself. We don't even know what he does up here, but he's all alone. He's completely isolated from the rest of the office. They don't have to see each other every day, which is probably a good thing.
Yeah, probably probably. And hey, what are the chances that we've got a guy from Kansas City, a guy from Philadelphia in the office? Hey, sports brings people together. I love it.
Yeah, you got to love it. And Philadelphia, already an epic sports year. It's hard to say year because, the baseball season was over in October. Here we are, going to be in February. But it is still the same continuous season, right? They both were in the fall, started fall. So you got a World Series, you got a Super Bowl, and you've got the red hot 76ers, and a great chance that, Philly is heartbroken times 3, I think. But on a serious note, who do you got?
Who do I have?
Yeah.
It's hard to say. It's hard to say because
it's really a tough call.
A lot of me wants to go with Philadelphia because then I could say the Bears gave the Super Bowl champion a run there for a little bit.
Yeah.
That was kind of fun. But my gut's telling me the Chiefs.
The Chiefs, okay. Well, I am in the presence of Matt Michie right now, so it would be unwise to say anything but the Chiefs for fear of flying objects.
Or, poor editing.
But I do think that I think it's a total toss-up. I mean, I really do. I think it'll be a great game. It would not surprise me. The point spread is, not that I pay attention, but the point spread is 2 points for a reason, right? It's a toss-up.
Yeah. Pick them. Almost.
When in doubt in these matchups, I tend to go with the stronger defense, which I would argue is Philadelphia.
Defense wins championships.
But I think it's going to be a great game. So if I had to lean, I'd say Philly. Yeah.
Hey, Super Bowl Sunday coming up. That's always a great day. So in that spirit, our last segment of the day, top of the order, non-holiday best days or non-holiday holidays. So we're each going to pick our favorite 3 days of the year that are not holidays. So Christmas, Thanksgiving, Halloween, see ya. We're talking unofficial holidays here. And I know the Super Bowl is always at the top of that list. It's the classic office banter, right? Oh, I wish the day after the Super Bowl we didn't have to come into work, Oh. So let's have that discussion right now. Who's picking first? What are we flipping?
What are we flipping, Michie? He is caught.
Oh boy, he doesn't know. Okay,
flipping the flipping the cap. Okay,
a cap that I don't know if that'll work. Okay.
All right, Larry wins.
He's pointing at me, so I pick. I'm not going to go with the Super Bowl here.
All right.
I'm not going with Super Bowl Sunday or the day after the Super Bowl. I'm going the first day of March Madness.
Great one.
You show up to work or school. You've got basketball to watch all day until you go to bed, basically. Just glorious. Makes me smile thinking about it.
I made it 3 consecutive years in school, 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade, that Thursday, before the 4th year my mom caught on. Or it was the end of the 3rd year. She goes, is basketball on today? And starting at 11 a.m., I was like, oh, yeah, I guess there is some basketball on. And 4th year, she wasn't having it. She was not having it. But 3 years in a row, I got away with playing hooky in elementary school. So that is it's a great call, undeniably.
Didn't have cool teachers that would put it on?
I don't remember. I don't think I ever had.
That was back in the day, though.
Yeah, we didn't have TVs back then, Larry.
Didn't have WatchMarchMadness.com or whatever.
Yeah, no,
Watch March Madness app.
I watched the John Wooden UCLA era teams, Kareem on the old black and white set.
Get off my lawn.
No, they. I don't remember. I believe in middle school I did have a teacher that wheeled a TV in for it, for sure. Now it's just so easy. Kids, if they're allowed phones in classrooms, which some schools go no on that.
Yeah.
Hard no on the phones during the day. But that's a great one.
During the 2008 KU run, Mario Chalmers, legendary.
Of course.
Our elementary school postponed our school assessments for a whole week because they landed on the same day as our Final Four matchup. Wow.
That's, hey, kids, can't study. Mario Chalmers is on, all right?
Exactly. I think a magical day, and it's still magical, but especially when I was growing up, is opening day.
That's a no-brainer move right there.
Two classic words. Really no other day like it. Yeah, opening NFL Sunday's great. First day of basketball is very disjointed. Opening day for NBA, not really a thing, right? Because they have, a game here, a game there. But man, opening day, that first Monday, you see you're flipping around, and of course MLB extra innings free for that first week, right? So you got that first pitch that happens every year in. That doesn't know it. That's a disappointing. Cincinnati, traditionally, first game. Besides, of course, the Sunday night opener. Mm-hmm. But always the first pitch of the year happens in Cincinnati. That's like an 11:30 Eastern start. And then the games just start rolling. You got the freezing temperatures and the full ballparks all around. Of course, as a kid, I used to go, not necessarily to opening day, but always, and really the secondary to that is your favorite team's home opener, right? Which usually is on an afternoon in the middle of the week that feels just a little more special because it's the first one of the year. And when you're talking the first of 162, of course, it's a lot different than the first of 16. It's a big day. Love opening day.
Hope springs eternal.
That's right.
Maybe one of the best sports phrases ever. Because it's true.
It is true.
162 games could be rough for a lot of people.
You can talk yourself into anything, especially if your team starts 1-0. And you're like, man, that opening day starter went 7. And did you see that?
Good stuff.
Yeah, our number 7 hitter, that shortstop, hit 2 doubles. I don't know why he couldn't keep that up.
I think one of my favorite opening day memories, I remember, when I was a kid, do you remember when they would open up games overseas? I remember.
Yeah, in Tokyo.
When Oakland and Seattle played in Tokyo, I got up at, I think, 4 in the morning to watch first pitch of the MLB season.
True sicko.
Yep, indeed. But Kosuke Fukudome, opening day 2009. I think it was he hit a homer to put the Cubs up late in the 8th inning. Ron Santos going crazy on the radio. Pat Hughes with some electric calls. Beat the Brewers, division rival, 2009, and that was coming off back-to-back postseason appearances. Young Larry was fired up then. That was a good day.
Yeah, a lot of great opening day memories.
For me, I think I'm going to have to pick the Super Bowl.
Makes sense.
I think that's kind of a no-brainer. I remember when I was a kid, my kids, I don't have those yet.
That
thankfully.
you know of.
We're not going there.
It's been around.
My friends, God, vulgar, unbelievable. My friends in middle school, we would have Super Bowl parties every year. That was like the best day of the year. We'd show up to whoever's house at noon and play two-hand touch all day until the Super Bowl came on. I mean, that was good stuff. So Super Bowl for me.
Super Bowl's great. I'm going to stick, oddly enough, with college basketball too. I love Final Four Saturday.
Yeah.
Now, it's not a full day, but of course neither is Super Bowl, and there might not be as much pageantry, but as opposed to the finals, you get one game. It's the Final Four. These are, in theory, the 4 best teams in the country. The scene is great. It's an awesome day. I mean, Michie, obviously, my team has never been there, but Michie can speak to that. Final Four Saturday, electric.
Yeah. Yep. That's very true. My team has never been there either, and probably won't be. Tough to get a major team to the Final Four these days.
Percy Hawkins ain't walking through that door.
No, that's a great point. Shout out the Hawk, the GOAT. For me, I'm going to go away from sports. Last day of school, last day of classes. You go elementary school, last day of school, always the best.
Great one.
Last day of college classes. For me, it was a really weird deal, my last day of classes ever, because it was in the middle of March, and I left to come here early to start. And so, everybody's talking about, study day eve, all the shenanigans that go on a college campus near the end of the semester. I think I was in Midland, Michigan when all that was going on. But end of the semester, end of school, always the best.
That's a great one. Now I'm gonna cheat a little bit because, and I'll see if this is within the rules. This is not an official holiday. You still get your mail this day, okay? Everything like that. But May Day, May 1st, is a true tradition in my life since high school.
Yes. Okay.
So are you familiar with this?
I'm familiar with your tradition.
Okay, you are. Yeah, so May Day is like an old school, some sort of Scandinavian origin, where you pick flowers and you give candy and you make a basket and you give it to friends and loved ones. Well, I don't know how, in just a relentless effort to get a date, unsuccessful. I think me and my friends, particularly me, dreamed up this scheme in high school, and so it's kind of continued from there. So now with my family, we make it a big deal. We deliver baskets. You deliver the basket on the door, you knock on the door, you run away. You got to have a getaway driver. It's a whole big thing. So I would encourage those to participate in May Day here in a couple months. It's coming up, believe it or not, even though it's 2 degrees outside. It's going to be May Day before you know it. I'm going to go with May Day for my third.
I like that. I like that pick. It's unique. I don't think a lot of people had that on their board.
Yep.
I got to say, you're married with kids. Did it work?
Did what work?
The ding-dong ditching with flowers in a basket.
Now that's tough. Yeah, you got to kind of extend that to, you bring eventually when your kids get old enough, you bring them along and they can do that to their friends and you scoot off. But no, you don't do that to your own place. It gets a little awkward. But yeah,
It's
May Day.
awkward. Hide in the bushes quick.
Yeah, exactly. Just hang out with Tango in the bushes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good
Tango
stuff.
the raccoon. Maybe she'll be our next guest.
Oh, it would be great. I do have a pet raccoon that shows up sporadically at our house, and if we can coax her in here, get some Nutter Butters, leave a trail of Nutter Butters on the way to the car, bring her on in.
What sound do raccoons make? They just
Yeah, they have a variety of sounds they
a
can
lot
make.
of
They
clicking?
can purr, they can hiss, they can. There's a lot of low growling if you try to take away one of those Nutter Butters. Yeah, it's a whole big circus in the Flickinger house.
Hey, next time on Flock Talk, raccoon noises, maybe.
Maybe.
Be sure to hit that subscribe button, whether you're watching on YouTube or Spotify. Appreciate you joining us. Shout out to Zack Raab, and we'll see you next time.